All right. There we go. Okay, so before we talk about our next two assignments, I want to know what your thoughts were on this one. What did you seem to struggle with the most? Memorization part of that. What else?
Making it easy to understand for someone who doesn't know anything about it.
That can be difficult to do.
Having to break it down into
Simplify it.
yeah.
Yes. What else? Say memorization is probably one of the bigger ones. The closer connected you are with your topic, the easier it's going to be, which is kind of funny that you would say that because your memorization was spot on and you had words that I probably couldn't even pronounce. So you did really well. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to kind of talk about both of our next speeches in one. You have nothing due on it yet because I want you to put thought into your topic selections because when you come on Thursday, I want you to have a topic idea for both of our speeches coming up. If they change, that's okay. But we're going to do kind of a two-part persuasive speech assignment, meaning that there's going to be two different speeches. They are both going to be in between 3 and 5 minutes. So a lot of you went way over. You need to really work on being in the time frame. And so practice it. So you need to make sure that you are in between that 3 and 5 minute marker. So when I say the word persuasive speech, almost all of the times I get topics such as don't drink and drive, don't abuse your animals, don't text and drive. And those all sound like, yeah, that'd be a good topic. But in reality, when you are thinking of something persuasive and you're thinking of something that's arguable, are those topics arguable? Because you have to think of what the counter argument is going to be. Is there a counter argument for drinking and driving? There's not one article or logical person out there who's going to argue, we have benefits if we drive drunk. That is not logical. The same for child abuse, animal abuse. There's no logical argument that says we should all abuse our animals. So when we get to our persuasive speech, we have to think of topics that are arguable, something that has two sides to it, and something that you care about. Now, I know that can be difficult to do. So when we do this, we talk about persuasive speech topics. What I don't want is, it doesn't have to be something controversial. Sometimes it is, but it doesn't always have to be. The computer's going to sleep. It doesn't always have to be controversial. And so here's an example. So the death penalty. Can you argue the death penalty? Yes. How many of you in here legitimately are passionate about that issue one way or another? Not so much. Kind of That would be picking a topic just to pick a topic. Now you're going to have credibility with this. You have to have credibility in your introduction. So if I come down here and say, I don't know, I mean, we probably shouldn't kill people, so we probably shouldn't do the death penalty. I don't have credibility. But let's say, Corey, and if this happened, that would really suck. Let's say that you get a phone call right now and your brother who's on death row was executed yesterday. Bless your heart, you're here today. And he was innocent. Now, he would be credible to do that speech. Now, he would have a reason to do that speech. So that's what I want you to start thinking about. The example I always give, I've given it in my Comp 2 class, is it's not controversial, but it did affect me. My son used to have food allergies. Wheat, eggs, corn, peanuts, milk, and beef. Couldn't eat anything. It was highly expensive to feed him. Very expensive. I always thought that the insurance companies should provide food, allow you to buy food with your insurance card at health food stores if diagnosed with a medical diagnosis with medical documentation to back that up. That's not controversial, but can you argue that? Some people are going to think, no, you shouldn't do that. But I had a logical, real reason for wanting to do that, so that would be something that I could do. Think of things that affect you here at campus, at your high school, at your place of work. Then you have to ask yourself, does it really affect enough people. For example, and I don't know if it's as popular now, but when Pokemon Go came out, I never played it. If you did, cool. But people were like playing it all the time. So here's what my example with this is. You couldn't say, they should let me play Pokemon work. That doesn't affect enough people. So topics that I see a lot are, certain policies that you don't agree with. Think about things that are going on in the world. Things that I don't allow are very cliched topics. Number one is abortion. I'm rolling my eyes. It's overdone. It's overplayed. It is the number one on any persuasive topic, argumentative topic. It tops the list. Here's reason number two. I don't allow that topic. I can't control what people say here, and this is an introductory speech class. That is a topic that you're either way over here on, right, or you're way over here on. And you have to be careful with tone. So I'm not giving you my views. This is for example purposes only. But let's say that I come down here and I say, abortion is murder. So listen to me while I tell you why you should not do that. If you guys don't agree with me, what have I done?
Set yourself up as a target.
Yes. I have offended people. Are you guys going to listen to me? No. So if I came down here and said, well, I know this is a really hot topic. There are a lot of different views, and I understand that I don't know what all you guys believe, feel, or have even been through. But today I'd like to tell you about a few alternatives rather than having an abortion. Didn't I basically say the same thing? Against. Now, if you disagree with me, are you more likely to listen to me? Round two. Possibly so. I am coming off as being less abrasive. So you have to really keep that in mind. Other things that are very cliche, legalizing marijuana. I'm rolling my eyes. Get over it. The death penalty, unless you have a legit reason for wanting to do it. Gun rights. It's just very cliched. You want to think of something that not everybody else is doing. Something that is more personal to you. Something that is academically arguable, because you will have to have a source with this one. So, questions so far? Yes? Yes. The next two speeches, this one, the first one source, next one two. And I'm going to go over the next speech. We're going to talk about it more. And in all actuality, the one I'm talking about now is our second speech, because I'm about to make your first one a little easier for you. So this topic selection does require a lot more thought. PowerPoint, same requirements. Source, same requirement for speech one source, speech two sources. According to. How did you, that the Army something website, like that, I mean, check, you got it, full credit. I think everybody in here said it. You had yours from that website, 50% of something about shoes, something. He had it, check. 1 time first persuasive, 2 times second persuasive, as long as they are academically credible sources, academically sound. Here's another topic that I will allow. I'm the teacher, I make the rules. I will allow somebody to be for gay rights, but I won't allow somebody to be against it, because I don't want anybody to ever be offended. Here's my reason for that. My first semester teaching here, I didn't have that rule, and I didn't approve topics back then. I have to now, but I didn't have to then. And I had somebody get up and give the most abrasive, offensive, anti-gay speech that I have ever heard. I wanted to sink into my chair and crawl out the door. It was awful. The next speech after that was this little girl who hardly said a word. Got in and plugged in her flash drive. Opening slide was a picture of her and her girlfriend at prom. My heart broke for her, because I know that was offensive. And I do not ever want any of my students to ever be offended. So that's why I allow that. So, and I've been saying this for years and nobody has, but if you have an issue with that, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about that. But, so that's my reasons for that. We cannot do anything that promotes your religion as being superior to any other religion, because we are a state something. We are a state entity. Meaning, you can't say, my God's better than your God. Being a Christian's better. Being a Buddhist is better. We just can't do that. So now that I've told you about all the topics you cannot do you have any questions? You can't do things such as Coke is better than Pepsi, Apple is better than Android. Too opinionated.
And we still need a credibility statement, right?
Yes. So now, with all of that said, I can tell by the looks on your faces, you're like, I have no idea. So I'm going to make this one different. First persuasive speech is going to be something stupid, something funny, where you can persuade your audience that I should be allowed to play Pokemon Go at work, that The Walking Dead is the best TV series on the planet, that Harry Potter is the best book series in the world. Is that academically arguable? Or are those things I just said, are they academically arguable? No, not one bit. So how am I going to have a source in there? I would take The Walking Dead, for example, and I would say, according to AMC.com, it says that for the final episode that aired just this last Sunday night, 74 million people watched it. I'm making that up. I am one of those 74 million. So then I just knocked out my credibility statement and I knocked out my source. You can research anything. Same thing. You did a quote by J.K. Rowling in yours, didn't you? You found it from a website. Based on this website, J.K. Rowling once said this, just to back up your opinion. That's all you're doing. So for this one, you can be a little bit silly, creative. I had somebody one time, why Miss Padal should allow me to use the podium when I give a speech. Is that academically arguable? Absolutely not. Speech one, not academically arguable. So then again, I still want you to think about things maybe that just piss you off. Maybe you can't wear flip-flops at work, and you want to wear flip-flops at work. So you're going to have to really think. This one is going to have more of a comedic, sarcastic twist to it. Second one's going to be serious. So, intro, credibility statement, central idea, key points, transitions, conclusion, a source, PowerPoint, same as the last. Those are the requirements. So you're going to have to think about your topic selection here because you're probably, even with that one, I have no idea. So that's why we're going to brainstorm here and think about topics that aren't, for speech one, aren't so much academically arguable versus one that is. So I'm going to turn this off.